Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Fun Side of Business podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Hampton.
And I'm the other host, Gemma Addison.
So, Gem, today, this is the person, I say this about everyone, right?
You do. This is basically
most excited. Okay, this is one where we are going to probably explore the most random business journey of anyone I've ever spoken to ever.
I'm excited about this one because I've literally just met her.
Okay.
And I'm excited already.
So, we have someone who has lectured around the world. She's an expert in ISO, which we're going to find out a little bit about what that is. She's an audit and risk compliance supremo. She's an international business owner.
Wow.
We're welcoming today Tori Burn.
Woo! Welcome, Tori.
Oh, thank you very much.
That intro.
That's a lot to live up to, right?
Sure is.
You can't play this down now and just go, well, I do a little bit here, a little bit there. Okay, so...
I don't know, and I need to kick off. I've just found out. And how long have you two known? When did you meet?
We met when we were about 18, 19.
That's the bit that excites me the most. Because I know...
No, I'm going to go earlier than that.
Oh, no.
I'm going to say we probably met 1990, 1991.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I think I was at sixth form, or just about at sixth form.
That's the bit that excites me, because I know Tori's probably got stories about you. So I'm really excited.
Yes. Well, all I'm thinking is the place where we would have met and spoken. I was probably in there from about age 13, 14. Mm-hmm. You may not have been there until a little bit later.
Yes.
But anyway, right.
But we'll go back to that.
I don't even like going into this.
You look so uncomfortable.
Can I point out, just because we have a nice open, talk of everything.
Yeah.
This is the only guest who's come in and said, oh, there's questions I want to ask you and there's things I've got to talk about you, and brought out a piece of paper.
Brought out a list.
So I'm quite nervous about this. Anyway, right, Tori.
I'm loving this.
Have we got you right? International lecturer.
I have lectured.
Okay, around the world?
Internationally,
yep.
China, yep.
You're an expert in ISO?
Yes.
Okay. You've done audit and risk compliance?
I have forever.
Forever. And you own a business, or more than one business, and one of them is international, right?
Yes,
amazing.
Absolutely.
There we go. We
got it right. There we go.
Okay, so Tori, we're going to go back. In fact, you brought this up. High school sixth form.
Yes.
Tell us how you were at school.
Oh, I loved high school.
Okay.
And I did really well in high school.
Were you local to here, Ipswich?
Yep. I went to Dale Hall Primary School.
Okay.
Delston High School.
All right.
And then I had to go to a different sixth form.
Okay.
And that's where it kind of all went wrong. So I went to Westbourne sixth form, and when I was there.
Okay.
Because
when most people were there at Westbourne.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a lot, I think. We have had another guest on that's been from Westbourne.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, it was a different place, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I've been listening to some of your podcasts, and you're talking about the NRA, and oh my goodness, I hadn't heard that for such a long time.
No one had it.
We love using that.
They had it for their first, everyone went, I need this for my NRA. Quick, let me just find some extracurricular for my NRA.
My swimming certificates went in there.
Absolutely.
I remember literally the first job interview I turned up to with my NRA, and I was so proud of it. And we went and did the interview, and at the end of it, I said, oh, do you need to see my NRA? And they went, what's one of those? And I went, oh my God, this bubble of 2 years of trying to put this together. And it's like, oh yeah, shit, no one cares. Never mind.
Brilliant. No, it was a good reminder. I hadn't had that for ages. Anyway, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think that was the problem. I didn't know which A-levels that I wanted to take.
Yep.
And I think back then, my parents didn't give me much direction either. They were relying on our teachers to give us that information. And we had the worst careers advice. The only job I really knew about was what my parents did and what the teachers did. So I decided I wanted to be a teacher. And it didn't really turn out because I didn't study enough for my A-levels, and I did French, German and English. And I liked the subjects, but it wasn't something that was going to, bode me well to the future. So anyway, sixth form. So I spent a lot of time in a place called Cue Ball, which was a snooker club.
Oh, was it a snooker club?
I wonder how you two met.
And there was a sharp player there called Nick Hampton.
Yeah, okay, all right. So
does everybody know what a great pool and sniff
Well, I mean,
you are.
the shark part has now obviously just been blown. So we can't do that. If you publicise it, it's like, yeah, that's gone. So let's say that, yeah, I still occasionally play, and yeah, there's places where my name
His name is on some boards.
things and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do. I'm glad that talent didn't go to waste.
So yeah, okay. So that was probably that was a great place for a misspent youth, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If there was anything that was a little bit dodgy, a little bit untoward, a little bit like needs to be arranged somewhere, that was the social club it would be arranged at.
Yeah.
And it was somewhere where my parents would never have found me.
Correct.
Yeah.
No one's parents would ever be in there at all. If you imagine like a youth club, it's gone, yeah, and now it's for over 18s.
Yeah.
To just do the same stuff, but far worse.
But there were also a lot of business people in there as well. And I remember a lot of these, there was Frank the dentist, and there was the guy that owned it.
Richard.
Yeah.
And
Richard
Jason.
Casmo and Jason worked there.
And Julian and Abby.
And they were all quite, entrepreneurial people, and it was quite good to talk to them.
But it probably wasn't it wasn't like the most business that happened, right?
No.
Let's say that I would imagine 5% of the business that happened in Cuball probably was legal. And 95% of it was everything else.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's some fun times.
Anyway, there were some fun times, and I got a job in an accounting firm because I decided that I wasn't going to become a teacher, because I didn't want to complete my A-levels and go through another few years of university, because I just wanted to earn money.
Yeah.
I'd been earning money since I was young. I was babysitting all the kids in the neighbourhood and earning enough money to go to Russia and Italy. I was earning good money, and then I was teaching piano lessons for about 10 years since I was 15. So any way that I could, I was trying to get a job, earn money, work. And I heard accountants earn loads of money. Well, you can probably verify that now. So I went to work for a little firm called McNally's in Ipswich, who gave me the office junior role.
I think I might have looked after them when I worked for Sage. It's possible.
Yes, yeah. But they wouldn't let me do any actual work. So I was like covering for the receptionist when she went to lunch, and I wasn't even allowed to do a reconciliation, And then one day I saw Nick, and he said, I'm working for this firm in Woodbridge. How about you come and, have an interview and join us? And there we are, Pinfold & Co.
We were.
Oh.
And the most amazing boss that actually had a big influence in my life.
I'd say bosses.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Because Andy was there. Well, hang on. Which one would you say was more your boss? Because you worked a lot more with Andy than you did with Tony, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
You were probably more with Tony.
Yeah.
Because you really enjoyed the work, and I was just...
you enjoyed talking to Andy about Wednesday night Chicago's.
Yeah. Let's go for the next.
That sounds like my kind of job, Tori.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of my accounting stint. But Tony was really great, and I think
I literally, I mean, Jen will tell you this, that quite often I always say that I don't think I'd be doing what I am today if it wasn't for Tony.
Yeah, you do. You have said that.
Because he was the only person, and I think, when you go and do your AAT and you see all the people in other firms, and they're, I've been there for 6 months and I'm stuck at doing a summary and a reconciliation because we're not allowed to do more than that. And Tony would just go, that's fine. You go at your own speed. You go as fast as you want to go, and let me help you get up to speed. Yeah. And he was amazing at that.
He was. And there's lots of things that I have taken from that job, even though it was only a couple of years of my life, that I now do in my, role now. And I hope they're well, actually. I hope they're really well. I'd like to see them again.
The crazy part, I remember going from Tony's to going to another firm of accountants, and you all appreciate this because you no doubt did the same thing that I did, where, you'd never get your knuckles wrapped, but if ever you told, oh, by the way, there's a 10p difference on a bank rec, you just get it back and go, well, then go and fix it.
Yeah.
And hold on a sec, it's just 10p. Go and fix it. Could it be £1 million out one way and 990? It's like, yes. All right, then go and fix it. So everything had to be to the penny.
Yeah.
And I remember when I left Woodbridge and went to work in Clacton, and I remember my boss asked me on my second day, he said, what are you working on? I said, I'm working on the bank rec for such and such. And he said, why are you still working on that? And I said, well, I'm on my third pass. first two didn't quite add up. And he said, how much are you out by? And I went, 14 quid. He went, write it off. And it was like this moment of going, what?
No.
What firm have I joined for this like Judas speech of just get rid of it? And it's like, you can't do that. It could be out by £1 million wrong. But they're like, yeah, the client doesn't care, nor do we. And nor does HMRC. And I went, what? Yeah. And then you start to realize the other side of it, where the client's going to get a bill for another 9 hours of your time to help them find 14 quid. That's going to save them 3 quid in tax. They save 3 quid and they pay you 300. Yeah, actually, all right. It does make sense. Just get rid of it.
But I wonder if that was kind of our learning curve as well, because Tony was very good at kind of being that mentor, really, wasn't he?
Yeah. But do you remember when?
But
Do you remember when? I don't know if you were there when the JMU came in. Okay, so JMU was Joint Monitoring Unit, and I think it was to do with when we were auditing, and we got audited as auditors.
Okay.
And Tony was, he was having ulcers over this, like proper stressing, because he said not only could this be prison, this could be we're shut down, the whole lot's gone, everything's done. And what they were going to do is they were going to come in and pick up 2 or 3 files, but we had no clue which ones. So every file had to be trawled. We pulled the whole lot back out, went through everything to make sure all T's dotted, all I's dotted and T's crossed. And he got told off by the JMU for over auditing.
Oh.
Because they said if you were a big national firm, the hourly rates that you would charge means you're overcharging your clients. But because you're in Woodbridge and the fees are lower, your fees are perfectly reasonable for the job you're doing. But you're doing too much work. You're being too thorough. And that's what he got told off.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, that was quite an interesting one of going, yeah, you're too right. And people won't ever understand that about accountancy, because they'll just go, oh, yeah, you just do this and you just work out the numbers and everyone gets the same answer. It's like, not really.
No,
but yeah.
Penfolds is still going strong. And I always remember, because we'd turn up in our old bangers, and then one day you inherited a car. So I was really surprised to see that it wasn't on the driveway out here, actually.
Which one?
Your blue, was it?
The little blue Honda Civic. Yes. Yes, I did.
And you were so proud of that.
Of course I was so proud of that car. Yeah, that's it.
And I was interested to learn that you worked at McDonald's, because you were a very big fan of McDonald's. I remember driving from Woodbridge.
We did it. Don't you remember? Like, we'd do it occasionally, where we'd go and do the McDonald's run.
Yeah.
Where someone would go into the A14, because it was like in the 1990s, Woodbridge was like still closing on a Wednesday afternoon. Because it was market day for no market that's going on.
Yeah.
And all these old people and so there was no such thing. But yeah, would occasionally
McDonald's run.
McDonald's run.
Very important.
Never put you off.
That's it, yeah.
Still enjoyed it.
That was it. That was the way. Right. So pinfolds. So you're done with pinfolds.
Yeah. Council. Then I went to Suffolk County Council.
Okay.
Just for a change. I don't think accounting was really my thing, but the council was offering, audit roles. And you got to audit the police and the fire stations and the old people's homes and the schools. And that was quite interesting.
That sounds like a fun version of auditing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, what are you auditing this time? Counting nuts and bolts. Yeah, that's crap.
Yeah, so I was there for about 7 years. Really good time. They had a social club there. We had lots of fun. There was, many a drunken last working day of the year. Made some very good lifelong friends there. But got a bit restless. And something I don't know if you did know is that I was born in Australia.
Yep.
But I was 8 months when I came to Ipswich. So I've never really lived in Australia, not that I could remember, but I had an Australian passport. And so something in the back of my mind was always like, got to use this
So have you still got a
passport.
family? Did you have family over there?
No. So my parents were like £10 poms. I think they paid a bit more, but similar in the 70s. And they went over there to work. And then they came back with a baby, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had this Australian passport. So I think I just finished a relationship that I was in, and I was just, what am I going to do? All my friends went to uni. I'd been working since I was, 18. So I had a house by then, and just thought I'll go traveling. I'm going to go traveling and just remind myself, about how privileged I am, I suppose. So anyway, I decided to go to India.
As you do.
Yeah, so I've done with the council. Let me go to the council.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, hang
sorry.
on. Yeah,
put
so
me off
finished with
now.
the council. And then
Went
you're
travelling, rented
Okay.
out my house,
right.
went to India.
Yep.
Travelled around India for a couple of months. That was full on, really full on, being on my own, blue-eyed, just
Yeah.
they hadn't seen anything like me, some of these people. So it was, it was interesting, very, very interesting. I went to see all the main sites and stayed there for a while and travelled around on a moped and just chilled, and it was really fun. And then I went to Thailand, and that's where I caught up with another old cue ball friend of ours.
It was. The thing is that this guy, yeah, okay. I don't know what you're going to say about him.
Well, it was an interesting time, put it this way. I think we spent a couple of days hanging out together, and then he found himself a wife.
Hang on, had he was already his girlfriend, or it just took him 2 days and just went, yeah, found a
No.
wife now.
Well,
Thanks.
when you're in Thailand, you've got to go and do a few different things and
Yeah.
witness a few different amazing things that some of these ladies can do. And I think he bought her off the stage. And so
wow.
the next day, she was in the car with us, and we were going to drop her home. And she stayed in the car while we were travelling down to Koh Samui from Bangkok. She stayed in the car, and I was like, when are we dropping her? When are we dropping her? He's like, oh, she's going to tell me when we're near her house.
Never did.
She never did. So she travelled to Koh Samui with us.
That is brilliant.
And then I got a bit fed up because I was this spare wheel.
Yeah.
So one night I just went out on my own, and I bumped into these Aussie guys, and they were like, you're an accountant? By then, I'd done my AAT,
Yeah.
and I'd done most of the way through SIPFA as well. Anyway, you're an accountant. We really need an accountant to come and work in China for us. We've got a Melbourne company. We travel all over the world, and we teach
Random.
English and business and accounting, and we really want you to come and work for us. And I was like, no, I'm still traveling. I'm still having this time out for me. So I went to Cambodia with a Tasmanian girl that I'd met in Bangkok. And then they were still emailing me.
I love this story.
Still emailing me and saying,
Well, we need a
"Please."
movie.
Yeah. And so in the end, I was running out of money, and I relented and said, okay, all right, I'll come and work in China. But on one condition, I need to go to New Zealand because my sister had just moved there. She's pregnant, and I want to see her just before she has the baby. So they paid for a return flight back to Beijing. So I was in Beijing for a few months, 5-6 months, teaching English and accounting. And again, that was just, every country, they just have different.
So did you have to learn Chinese as well, or Mandarin, to be able to do it?
A little bit, because
Okay.
at that point, the Beijing Olympics hadn't happened. They were
Okay.
starting to gear up for it, and they were starting to build big walls to hide their little hutongs where all the poor people were living in the middle of Beijing. So if they weren't hiding them, they were shipping them out to the country to get them out of the
Outside,
city.
yeah.
So all of the menus and everything was still in Chinese. No pictures, just Chinese writing. I had no idea what I was ordering. But a lot of the students really helped out. They took us out and about and explained what things were and how to say it in Chinese.
I just can't believe that you ended up traveling. You just went traveling.
Yeah.
And now you're in Beijing working. It's
Yeah.
just so bizarre.
Yeah.
India,
You can't even
China.
write. You haven't planned that.
sorry, India, Thailand, Cambodia,
Yeah.
China.
China.
China. Yeah, so that was interesting. Every month I had to argue to get my wages. The exams that we were adjudicating at the time for this Melbourne company, the students had all the answers written in front of them on the table in front of them. They had their phones, and I'd be saying, no, you can't have the answers. And the Chinese teachers would just give me a bit of a nudge and go, it's okay.
Yeah.
So obviously they'd had a bit of a backhand.
So the parents are good supporters of the school. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but they didn't like to pay us, and we were only earning about like £200 a month because
Okay.
Wow.
it was, we didn't do it for the money.
Yeah.
We did it for the experience. But again, really brilliant experience. And we just bought bikes and we just cycle around Beijing down to the Forbidden City and went ice skating on the lake, the local lake. Yeah, so that was really interesting.
Wow.
But then I knew I was going back to New Zealand to visit my sister and the first, nephew. So I started looking at jobs, and before I even got there, I had a telephone interview with Deloitte. And they gave me a job before I'd even arrived in New Zealand. So the
Wow.
very first day I arrived in New Zealand after finishing teaching, I had my induction with Deloitte.
So what were you doing with Deloitte?
Enterprise risk, so
Okay.
auditing,
Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so already had a job sorted, got myself a little flat in Upper Queen Street in the middle of Auckland, thinking that I wanted to be in all the action, and then realised that it was just all foreigners in the middle of Auckland. So I eventually kind of moved out into the suburbs and nearer the beaches and things. But yeah, brilliant experience. Definitely play hard, work hard culture at
Have to,
Deloitte.
yeah.
And then after a while, I decided that I really wanted to go out and experience the industry, because they were, we were auditing companies and I didn't know anything about these companies. Some of them I did, like Coca-Cola or Fonterra and places like that. But a lot of them, I just needed to understand a bit more about New Zealand and the people and the culture, because it was completely different. And I'm going there auditing them, telling them what to do, when actually I don't really understand.
You don't know the culture.
Yeah. And the culture. So so I temped for a couple of years just to get to know New Zealand and the culture. And then I got a job for a health insurer.
Okay, before you talk about your health insurance,
Okay.
you've so well travelled here. If someone had a bucket list of 3-4 places in the world to go,
Yeah.
where would you suggest they visit?
Thailand,
Okay.
definitely for sure. New Zealand.
Okay.
I think everywhere that I've been has been amazing for different reasons.
Mm.
But yeah, I found India really difficult.
Okay.
Cambodia, they just want to sell you weed everywhere you go. It's very Americanized.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Australia as well. You know, I spent a bit of time there later on.
So around the area of like the South Pacific of.
I think it's
going to those
amazing,
places.
just because it's still very, English.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who have come from England and emigrated there over the time, and it's like a really special English,
Oh, that's
country.
nice.
Yeah. Thailand is just beautiful, and the people are so happy. Coming from India, where everybody just looked so miserable, and you think that you can go there and make a difference and help out in orphanages and things like that, and you actually, there's nothing you can do. It's just, it's just a different world.
I've not heard one bad thing about Thailand from anybody. I've never been. That's on my bucket list. But you only ever hear good things about Thailand.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Or everyone just says ladyboys.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's still a good thing, isn't it? For some people.
Well, it's a good thing if you can recognise that they are ladyboys.
I don't know. We'll
Especially if
ask
you're a
Norbert
man.
later on. Yeah. Okay, so now you're Australia.
Still New Zealand.
Oh, sorry, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Australia, I've never lived there. I have just been over there for holidays.
Okay, so New Zealand, and
Yes.
where's your next job after
So
that?
I'm working for health insurance. They were looking for somebody to set up an audit section.
Okay.
So I set up the audit section, and then lots of financial regulation came in, and they wanted somebody to set up business risk and compliance section.
Yeah.
So I kind of moved from provider audit. That fell then into my risk and compliance department. And by then, I'd been there a few years and really loved it, really enjoyed working for them, great company. But I did get made redundant when I was pregnant with my second child.
Okay.
And that was a bit of a bad ending there for the reasons that, that it was all ended. But anyway, still think it's a great company, there's great people there. But the funny thing was, at that point in time, I came back to England because I still have my house here. I needed to sell it because it was becoming a bit of a pain trying to, do maintenance and things on it. And I wasn't here to kind of monitor it. So I came back here, did it up a little bit, sold it. And then we decided to go travelling. I had met James at this point.
Hang on. So you've just come back from travelling?
Went back from travelling, but I was still based in New Zealand. But I came back to the UK to sell my house.
Yeah.
Because I was pregnant at the time, and it was a good time. I was taking maternity leave anyway. So we sold the house and decided to travel around Europe for a while. Yeah, and did about 7 different countries around Europe, with 2 babies in a buggy, which was fun. But it was perfect time because they just slept in the buggy and, you know.
You don't hear many people say they've gone travelling with babies.
Yeah, just us and the buggy.
And then when we got back to New Zealand, after selling the house and deciding that was definitely where we want to live and not here, I think it really opens your eyes as to where you want to be when you come back to visit it again.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that haven't changed here and people that haven't changed. And I just bump into random people wherever I go who say, I remember you. So we went back to New Zealand. Found out I was pregnant with another baby, so that wasn't a very good time to get a job. And this holiday park had kept coming up for sale, and we'd been staying there. James and I got married in Russell, Bay of Islands, which is the original capital of New Zealand. And we stayed at the holiday park when we got married there, as well as all the family. They came over from the UK. And it was a really nice park. There's kiwi wander around, and it'd come up for sale a few times that we've been up to visit. And James is very entrepreneurial, and he had looked into buying it. And for the price of like a house in Auckland, he was like, we could get a whole holiday park and 14 acres. And so I found myself pregnant with baby number 4, sitting in a caravan at this holiday park, 2 days away from signing the paperwork to say this is the house. Yeah, so never done anything like it before. Hospitality.
This really makes you think you haven't lived. I don't feel like I've lived at all.
Yeah. You hear everyone else's thing, it's like, job, business, done, we're up to date. And then we're still dealing with like, no.
Sorry, am I going over time?
No,
No, not at all.
Yeah, so hospitality, wow, that's another kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never worked in it before. Probably would never do it again. Because people are either lovely.
So how many lets is on this holiday park? Because obviously you say 14 acres, but I'm guessing that could be 300 chalets or 30.
So there are 146 campsites. There's a holiday house. There's a lodge room with 12 different buildings.
Wow.
I don't know exactly
This is
how
not
many.
a small
6
project,
cabins.
is it?
No.
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 You don't do things by halves, do you?
But I hadn't ever planned on working it and running it.
Okay,
My plan was just to oversee it,
Yeah.
because this is what James told me was going to happen.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting in a house
James
in
was like,
Auckland.
just sign here, Tori, it's fine. Honestly,
We'll work the rest out later.
we'll like just cash money every month. We'll travel the world. We'll do whatever we want and just leave someone else to run it for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went back there with a newborn baby for the very first summer. We'd bought it in May. Summer came up and we were working in it full on. I was scrubbing toilets from morning till night. I was behind the counter, greeting guests and helping guests with their problems and meeting guests who had a really bad day. And yeah, it's a really interesting experience.
James didn't say like, oh, by the way, the plan was that I'm going to go and travel and you're the person left in charge. Yeah.
I don't think it was all roses for him either, because yes, the power went out all the time. Toilets get blocked. He was maintenance. That was his thing. He was on maintenance. I was on learning a booking system and what that meant and trying to get the boom gate working and just learning all these new systems. But I think, having worked in accounting and different jobs, you work in different systems, and just taking on a new one, it all kind of comes together.
And it helps with
right?
and it helps with problem solving, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work the first time, you work out you work it out, don't you?
Yeah. So it was fine, but I just didn't. One night it was New Year's Eve and we were scrubbing toilets because the cleaners hadn't turned up, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I've worked my whole life in a career to earn loads of money and I'm stuck scrubbing toilets.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was just how it was.
Okay.
And we've got
so how did you get from there to actually sitting in the secret location that we're in today? How did you get from like...
This is really secret, actually. You never gave me the address until an hour ago.
It's like it's on a need to know basis. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
That is pretty secret.
Yes. So holiday park had to pivot through COVID. It's been a complete nightmare.
Tough.
And
Okay, so hang on. So you bought this
Really
just before COVID?
just before COVID.
That must
that's
be
really
the
tough.
worst.
Yes.
thing
So
to-
it has
Oh.
been a huge struggle, and it still is a struggle. And I think, I really appreciate businesses who are saying I'm still not through COVID,
Yeah.
because
You hear it a
you're
lot
not.
still.
You just
yeah.
everyone took out loans. Everybody, had to struggle through, pivot. I ended up running kids' holiday programs at the holiday park. I ended up running school itinerary groups, having to learn Te Reo, which is the Māori language in New Zealand, just so that I could communicate with the kids that came to the park and would, sing songs to us and talk in Te Reo. So yeah, I had to really pivot but I loved it, and I actually realised that I have been a bit restrained, on my creativity
Yeah.
in doing accounting and things like that, and risk and compliance. And so yeah, it all just came bursting out when we had this business and we had to make it work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, my sister became terminally ill, so we just had to get back here ASAP. And so that's why I'm here
So
in the
you're back.
office.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was, I got back here, and because we've had our own business for 5-6 years, then I don't have any recent experience in, to get a job.
Okay.
So I really struggled to find somebody that was willing to take me on in a role.
Because I mean, this is the thing for the purpose of the listeners, because everyone will say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing audit and compliance and things like that." But I'm guessing that maybe even 50% of people won't even know what auditing is. Now, I would always say auditing, if you simplified it, is checking.
Mhm.
So if someone says, "Oh yeah, you need to audit this," it's just what it's supposed to be. You just check it
Yeah.
against what it's supposed to be. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm guessing because legislation is changing all the time. If you have 5, 6, 7 years out, the standards change, the checks change.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't really think it has, because since starting my own business, nothing's changed really. I'm using all my audit experience from over the years. You always have to read legislation. Every month legislation is changing.
Yep.
I remember, working in accounting, and in my very first job, having to work in the tax office with this tax man and have a piece of paper and change it in all the tax books.
Yeah.
Because nothing was, on the...
We get Tolly's Guide of Tax Rates and Tables and things. It's like every year, it's like the new book comes out to follow it.
So I think like your mind is just set anyway to understand what you've got to comply
nothing
with.
becomes set in stone, does it? Because it's like,
Never.
You know
this
it's
is what the
gonna
rule is now.
Yes.
But we know probably in a year's time or a week's time, it's going to change again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I absolutely think that I really excelled in audit, because I was always looking for efficiencies, and I was always looking at ways that businesses can do better.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love about auditing, and now with my ISO work, is I think I understand it even better because I've had my own business. And you can see why businesses get really, frustrated with all this compliance, because they're so busy making money.
Yep.
Because that's
trying
the
to
whole
run the
point.
business. Yeah.
Run the business, that you just don't have time for all the detail. And that's where I really like to help businesses.
But it's also surely adapting, because it's very easy to think, "Oh, I have to do this," rather than, no, actually, if we do this, there's an awful lot of benefits attached.
Yes.
Because, when you think about, any kind of ISO stuff, there's a load of standards where you go, never going to use this, never going to use this. But there's also so many things in there that says, this actually is a really good standard to hold ourselves to.
Mm-hmm.
So as a business, we can grow, we can go further. So as much as people say, "Oh, I need to do it because I'm after a Sizewell project, and so quick, let me get my ISO accreditation." But it's also that steer that's putting their business in the right direction.
It is. And it's knowing when you need to get it, when you need to pay out all this money for an accreditation as well. Like, you can comply with ISO 9001, which is the quality accreditation certification, without actually being certified, without having that certificate, but all your processes can align with it, and it will make your business more efficient and run more smoothly, because there's so much in there that really aligns with what you do as a business anyway, with your business plan and, your competitors and all your interested parties, and it all comes together. And I like businesses to understand how this standard fits in with their business, rather than.
But that's the nice part about you. You make things relatable, don't you?
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
That's my aim. And also, you don't have to pay, even though I do get paid as a consultant. I would rather a business do the work and embrace the work themselves and just give them a bit of guidance. They don't have to pay me for days of work when they've got somebody there that can do it, and they just need someone to say, actually, this is what that means.
You just
In the
want to
standard,
educate.
this is what that means, and this is how you can achieve it. Use ChatGPT, use AI, and that will create the whole policy for you, and then just tweak it to match your business, and make it as simple and cost effective as possible.
But that's the same thing that, I was talking to a solicitor about AI, and I said, you're obviously going to struggle now because all the contracts that you're paid to write, ChatGPT can do it. And they said, what do you think we've been doing for the last 20 years? I said, well, not AI. And they said, no, we just subscribe to something that gives us a template anyway. We take the template. Our skill is not in the template. Our skill is taking that template and adapting it to what it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm guessing that's exactly the same thing.
Exactly. But I think it's difficult when you run a business and you're looking at all these words and these big standards and things, and you're like, I just don't understand what it's telling me.
But I suppose that's the nice part where you can, if you're making things relatable, instead of someone going, I need to do ISO 9,000 or I need to do 27,000 or 54, 45, whatever the numbers are. But, the next latest standard, and they're doing it because they think, I only am doing it because I want to try and get a contract with Sizewell.
Yes. Yeah.
And what they don't realise is actually by doing it, you're putting best practice into place in your business. So it doesn't matter whether you get the Sizewell contract because it's just going to help your business anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. And most people are coming to me because they want opportunities. They're trying to, apply for a tender or a grant or something like that, and they need to have 9001. NHS, local government, they all require 9001. Sometimes 45,001 health and safety. That's a huge one in manufacturing at the moment, getting lots of call for that. 27,001 around information security. So yes, it's
just reeling this off.
She knows her stuff. I'm looking at you like, wow.
She knows her ISOs, we can put it that way.
And every single clause within them.
But you can also see she enjoys it. You can see the smile on your face. You can really see you actually enjoy.
I enjoy helping businesses that find it tough to, just to understand what the standard is.
What's happened to your holiday park? Is that still yours? Is it still being run?
It's within the family.
Okay.
Yes, and it's still going. Managers are running it. We've had some awful managers. A couple of years ago, we had managers that decided to use our cash for drugs.
Oh.
So the park went downhill really, really quickly, and we've had, police were called out, and it was an awful time. But luckily, we've now got managers who are really working hard on the park. They are all about the environment. They call it kaitiakitanga over there, and it's all about looking after your land. And so they're really supporting the Kiwi, and the Kiwi are now going around people's accommodation, so people that stay at the park can see the Kiwi. And we've just won another award. So we had a break.
Because you do a lot of stuff for sustainability, don't you?
Yes. So that's another side.
Something else she does next.
When I got here, I was looking at different things that I could do, and we had won awards for sustainability for the holiday park because all the water comes from a waterfall, all the sewage is dealt with the soakage field, so everything is really self-sustainable at the park, solar panels. So what I was trying to do is use our award status within the UK with other tourism entities. So I gave a few talks around that, but I think, it's difficult to charge money when you're helping in sustainability. Nobody wants to pay out for it because it's not important. It's not number one for them. So gave a few talks and ran some workshops. Still really keen on supporting businesses through sustainability. And I partnered with Sarah Cave, who we now have Business 360 Sustainability. We run some workshops and things every now and again, but it's a difficult one because sustainability isn't high on people's agenda.
Priority, is it? No.
But surely as net zero and things come closer, people are gonna. Again, it's going to be like a mad rush, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it is. But until the government actually, put it out there and do something.
There's a whole thing about going in politics. It's like, all right, we're definitely not going down that road. We'll just let that one sit exactly where it is, I think, and that's that.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think it's really important. And I think especially biodiversity and, keeping nature. It's one of the things that I'm quite passionate about is keeping nature and its habitat alive and keeping.
But I'm guessing it's a huge thing in New Zealand, right? More than it is here.
It is. It's the kaitiakitanga. Everybody looks after the land and the people and their
I love
environment
that.
around them.
Okay, all right. If you love it,
I love that.
say the word again.
Can it teach me to say again?
Kai
Kai,
tiaki
tiaki,
anga.
anga. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Kai,
Done that.
tiaki, anga.
There you go.
Hey, see? Look at that.
So yeah, there
I'm
we
all
go.
over it.
We can preach that to everyone, and all our podcast listeners can now practice it. So yeah. Well,
Wow, I'm blown away.
how can you get any more? So hang on, we're going to have to do this. So how many countries in the world have you visited?
Oh my gosh.
She can't even answer.
Too many?
that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I have done one of
best
those
place in
quizzes
Europe?
on Facebook. Best place in Europe. I love Austria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone win?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. that wins.
Well, this is like on the
I've been
spot.
to Austria.
Yeah.
Questions
Is that on the
so,
spot?
so many places.
Okay. Australasia, favourite place?
New Zealand, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And favourite place you've lived?
I have to say New
New
Zealand.
Zealand. She's not going to say
Yeah.
here, is she? She said Ipswich.
No. I think the thing with Ipswich is that you're not 5-minute walk from the beach, And-
No, there is
yeah, that is a
that.
difficult.
And then when you go to Felixstowe, I sat outside a beach hut
Oh, bless you.
with my kids playing on the stones with the foam rolling up onto the stones. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. So, but
It's probably a slight difference, right? A smidge. Smidge
just
difference.
a little bit. And it's
Yeah.
freezing cold.
Yeah.
But, home is where your family is. And
course
it's
it is,
so
yeah.
lovely to catch
You
up
make
with
it.
friends again and just make the most of it. I think coming back to Ipswich, my eyes are definitely more open to it's a changing town.
Yeah.
It's very much a multicultural town now, which is what Auckland is.
Yeah.
My kids have got best friends from Japan, Korea, China. And I really love that about Auckland is that they just have this massive world experience just in their school.
Yeah.
And I think Ipswich is now becoming that as well,
Mhm.
and you either embrace it or you don't.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to
It's not going to
change.
go away.
It's
Yeah.
just going to become bigger and bigger. And and I can really see the positives of it. Whereas I can also understand people's, fear of it as well, because it has changed Ipswich a lot
Yeah.
over the last 20 years since I've been away.
Oh,
Mm.
well, welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
Awesome.
having me.
Tori, thank you so much for coming in and gracing us with your presence.
Yeah.
For someone who's an international speaker, has done lectures all over the world, taught all over the world, worked and owned businesses all over the world,
Yeah.
to have her here has been a treat.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Tori,
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming in, and we'll catch you all soon.
Thank you.